For through the Spirit we eagerly await by faith the righteousness for which we hope. Galatians 5 and verse 5. Demystifying Holy Spirit. Look at the work of the Holy Spirit here. Paul is telling us, when the Holy Spirit is upon you, you eagerly await by faith the righteousness for which we hope for. Those are like 5 words that are being expressed. Number 1, when the Holy Spirit is upon you, He is the one who makes you to be eager, to be expectant, highly expectant. For through the Spirit we eagerly. That's what you see with Romans chapter number 8, where the man of God says that the word or the creation, 8:19 of Romans, for the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Do you see that anticipation, that expectation of something good is going to happen? That one is an enablement by the Holy Spirit. That's why you see that thing we call earnestness or esteem, that vigor, that energy that makes you to be expectant. That one is a work of the Holy Spirit. Number 2 is await. Patience. And if there is a difficult test for a believer, and you can do your own analysis and tell me whether it is true, is a test of patience, waiting on the Lord, because it demands endurance, perseverance. It's a difficult thing, but He's saying through the Spirit we await patience. Patience is a fruit of the Holy Spirit. There are people who do not know how to wait on the Lord. They will either quit or they will give in. So they end up compromising and agreeing with the forces of the opposition, or they end up quitting the race. They abandon the movement. They don't have the ability to wait. Waiting on the Lord. I waited patiently for the Lord. So the Holy Spirit, when He is in you, you'll function with patience. You know how to wait. And waiting does not mean sitting down and then you say, God, I'm waiting, come. No, it means you are doing something, but you know God has another agenda. So this what I'm doing is like a stepping stone or something that is keeping me busy to help me align myself. But what I know is this: God is coming about this. God is coming. So where the Holy Spirit is, there is that eagerness and there is that waiting. So eagerness and patience. And then He says, by faith, the righteousness for which we hope for. So 2 other things. Here He is speaking of righteousness. For He said by saying, for through the Spirit. So through the Spirit, eagerness and then patience, and then righteousness. And you know, righteousness is a person, Jesus himself. And Paul is saying, through the Spirit, we are waiting for righteousness. And Jesus is righteous. So it's the Holy Spirit that enables us to function in the righteousness of God, which is incarnate Jesus. That's why you see that righteousness is not of our own doing, it is a gift. So we receive it by faith. So where you should find the Holy Spirit is in operation. One of the things you notice, people, they have the tendency to be strong in terms of integrity, uprightness, ethics, moral values, and the character. You notice that moral fabric is harnessed, is strengthened. Where the Holy Spirit is not, righteousness, mostly it will be religious righteousness, that Pharisees righteousness, self-righteousness, whereby you are right in your own eyes. That is worldly standard. And mostly in that kind of righteousness, sin thrives very much, and defilement thrives very much, but it is covered because it is self-righteous. It is right as long as it is you doing it. But when the Holy Spirit is, righteousness of God flourishes. Righteousness of God functions with ease. That one is very key, because what we do not have today is the righteousness of God. We have self-righteousness, but we don't have the righteousness that is of God. Something else is for which we hope. For which we hope. Let me tell you something. You cannot hope. You cannot have hope if the Holy Spirit is not upon you. That is why you can consider Romans chapter number 5. If you look at verse 3, not only so, but we also glory in our suffering, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has given it to us. If you look like Romans 5 and verse 5, hope is an enablement by the Holy Spirit. Hope is a product of the Holy Spirit, because when the Holy Spirit is poured into you, you receive the love of God, and from that love you hope in God. So why are many people losing it? Because they are hopeless. They are in illusion. Many people are mediocre. Many people are in the state of delusion. People are vague. People are fatigued. Stop. Where the hope of God, where the Holy Spirit is, you'll notice the hope will flourish. And hope makes everything beautiful. And a man without hope is dead. Because hope is the one that makes you to continue pressing on. Is the one that enables you to continue flowing. How do you receive Holy Spirit? According to this verse, is by faith. He says by faith. So if you want to walk with the Holy Spirit works where there is faith. You cannot transact the businesses that are spiritual without faith. And Holy Spirit is a spiritual business of God. Holy Spirit will function where there is absolute faith, firm faith, where people's heart are anchored in believing in Jesus Christ. If you can invest properly in faith in God, Holy Spirit becomes a darling to you, and the Holy Spirit functions in you without any kind of obstacles. So work on your faith to receive Holy Spirit in the measure you want.